Hi guys, and welcome back to another Premier League video. Now today we're moving on to round 20, sort of, as a lot of teams haven't played games still, but those games belong to those rounds. So round 19, I got no scores right. Let's hope we can do more in round 20. Let's get into my predictions. Starting off with a postponed game, Arsenal versus Wolves. Now Arsenal, they've won 4 in a row. Their last game was 5-0 against Norwich. They've been in very good form. Emil Smith-Rowe has been on the bench a lot, but he's coming off the bench and always providing. He always seems to get a goal or an assist, even though he's coming off the bench. Saka and Martinelli, great. Ødegaard, so creative. It's all coming together at Arsenal. They're looking like a really strong team. Wolves, their last 7 games have either had no goals or 1 goal. 2 1-0 victories, 2 1-0 losses, and 3 0-0 draws, including a 0-0 draw against Chelsea. So they're very good defensively, can't attack very well, not clinical, as we've discussed over the past few videos. This game, I think it's just going to be Arsenal, to be honest. I'm going to go for the same trend of the 1 goal, and I'm going to go Arsenal to win 1-0. Palace versus Norwich next. And Palace, they lost their last game to Spurs 3-0. The complete reverse of what happened last time, because Palace beat Spurs 3-0 earlier on in the season. Palace, they've lost 4 of their last 6. So they're not in great form. But luckily for them, they're playing a team in even worse form. Norwich lost 4 in a row and haven't scored in any of them. Now I think Palace will concede in this, but I think they've easily got enough to win it. So I'm going to go Palace to win 2-1. Southampton versus Spurs now. And Southampton, they won their last game 3-2 against West Ham, who are struggling a bit at the moment. But it was a great result for Southampton. And they've only lost 1 of their last 5. So they're in pretty decent form. Spurs, they look incredible under Conte. He's transformed the team so much. I saw stats that under Nuno, they were like least distance covered per game. Under Conte, they're most distance covered per game. So he's really transformed the whole team, making them all work really hard, and it's paying off. They won their last game, obviously 3-0 against Palace, and they just don't concede many goals. Before that, they had a 2-2 with Liverpool, but to get a result against Liverpool is a brilliant result. And the way they played in that game really made me change my mind about this Spurs side. I think they'll comfortably win this. Spurs 2-0. Watford versus West Ham next. And Watford, again, as I've been saying a lot recently in my videos, have lost 4 in a row. That's because their last 3 games have all been postponed. So they haven't played for a while. And they're obviously going to be very fresh. And I'm thinking that's going to work to their advantage. I saw Man United last night, hadn't played for a while, and they were terrible. But I think this Watford team, getting that break, they'll come back and be a better side. They're playing a West Ham side who have lost their last 2 games. The last one was 3-2 against Southampton, and they're struggling for wins at the moment. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Leeds versus Villa next, and this one has been postponed as well. Leeds, they've lost their last 3 games and conceded 14 in those 3, which is obviously awful. Defensively, they're really struggling. However, one of those games was a 3-2 loss to Chelsea, where Leeds just lost it in the last minutes of the game, so they can score. It's just, obviously they got battered 7-0 by Man City, and that they are struggling at the moment. They've got a very, very thin squad. Villa, they lost their last game 3-1 against Chelsea. Gerrard has been in charge for 7 games at Villa, won 4 lost 3. But the 3 he has lost have been against Chelsea, Liverpool and Man City. So the top 3. So against mid-table to obviously bottom half of the table teams, Villa seem very strong. So for this, Leeds are at home, so I think they'll score, but I'm going to go Villa to win 2-1. A very exciting game next. Really looking forward to it. Leicester versus Liverpool. Now Leicester, they lost their last game 6-3 on Boxing Day, a 9-goal thriller to Man City. They went 4-0 down after about 25 minutes. Then they pulled it back to 4-3, and I was thinking this is going to be an incredible comeback. Man City did then get another 2, won it 6-3, but Leicester, on transition, seemed very strong. They were very good at counter-attacking against Man City, and I haven't seen anyone put 3 past Man City for a while. Man City are obviously in ridiculously good goal scoring form. They cannot stop scoring a lot of goals every game. But this Liverpool side, their last game was that 2-2 draw with Spurs. And with Liverpool, I don't think they've got, at the moment anyway, the attacking fluidity of Man City. I think Man City can break down teams no matter how well the team defends. Whereas Liverpool, they have to find a specific way through, normally just pass to Alexander-Arnold and let him spam 1,000 crosses in a game. But I don't think this Liverpool side at the moment have the attacking capability of the Man City side, which is making me think that Leicester are going to get something out of this. Leicester, I think they can do it, and I'm going to go for the same scoreline as Liverpool's last game, 2-2. Chelsea versus Brighton next, and Chelsea, they won their last game 3-1 against Villa. Jorginho getting 2 penalties, and they're back to winning ways. That came after 2 draws in a row, so hopefully for them, they can push on now and keep winning, just to make the title race interesting. Brighton, they finally won a game. For the first time since the middle of September, they've won a game, in the league anyway. It was 2-0 against Brentford. Maybe they could start winning games now, although I still think draws will be very favourable for them. I'm going to go Chelsea to win this one. I think Brighton might come in with a bit of confidence, so I'll go a narrow 2-1 victory for Chelsea. Brentford versus Man City next. Brentford, they lost their last game 2-0 against Brighton. Man City have won 9 games in a row, including their last game, which was a 6-3 win against Leicester, and a 7-0 win against Leeds. And they've scored 17 goals in their last 3 games, which is just ridiculous. They cannot stop scoring every single game. Brentford, they've been very good at home against the top teams, to be fair. They obviously got that draw with Liverpool, that 3-3, and then they narrowly lost 1-0 against Chelsea, but they played brilliantly and they deserve something from that game. If it wasn't for Edouard Mendy, they would have won, or at least drawn. So they are good at home against the big sides. The atmosphere is always great, but I don't think it's enough against this Man City side. I still fancy this Man City side to absolutely blow them out of the water. Brentford, I'll give them a goal. I think they'll be able to get a goal at home against them. But I'm going to go Man City to win 4-1. Everton versus Newcastle next. And these two sides both picked up very good results in their last games. Everton drew 1-1 with Chelsea, and it was a very young Everton side with a lot of absentees. Newcastle, I watched their game last night, drew 1-1 with Man United, and they were very good. I haven't seen Newcastle play like that all season. St Maximin, brilliant. Joe Linton was incredible. His transformation under Eddie Howe so far has been very good. He's basically playing as a box-to-box midfielder. He gets stuck in, his work rate is amazing, and he drives the ball forward very well. He tends to choose the right option. He laid a few people off and could have had a few assists. He played very well, and Newcastle, to be honest, deserved to win the game very comfortably. If they'd have took some of their chances, could have been 3-4. But De Gea making a lot of good saves, and where would Man United be without him? Now for this, I'm going to go in the favour of Newcastle. Everton still got a lot of injured players, and I think they just managed to pick that result off Chelsea because, I don't know, I just think Chelsea sort of underestimated them maybe. Newcastle are fighting for everything, and I think it's about time they got their second win now. So, Newcastle to win 2-1. And finally, Man United versus Burnley. Now, Man United were very poor in that 1-1 draw with Newcastle. Very sloppy in possession, kept trying long balls and giving the ball away. Their duels were poor, weren't winning any second balls. Newcastle were there every time. And yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting. One player I've been very disappointed with this season from Man United has been Marcus Rashford. He hasn't really done anything this season. He's looked very poor every time I've seen him play. And I think, to be honest, I might even favour giving Martial a shot on the left or something like that, just while Rashford's in bad form, because he's not helping the team at all in an attacking sense or a defensive sense. So, yeah, I think Man United need to drop Rashford. But Burnley, do I think they can play as well as that Newcastle team did? No. Burnley, as far as I'm aware, still missing Maxwell Cornet, and they haven't really got going this season. Norwich, Burnley, Newcastle and Watford, for me, are the four teams, and Leeds, 5 teams that are in threat of being relegated this season. I think it's between those 5 for those 3 relegation spots, and Burnley, I don't know, I do think it is their season to finally go down. I know I predicted it in my start of Premier League table prediction, but that was just sort of because they have a very weak squad. They tend to survive. But I actually think this season could be the season. I'm going to go Man United to win this, but the Rangnick way, as he won the other 2 games in charge of Man United, 1-0. So that's it for my Premier League predictions. Let me know in the comments what you agree with, what you disagree with, and put your predictions down in the comments too. Please like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Premier League content.